Today I'm going to be looking at 5 of the worst episodes of Amazing World of Gumball based on their IMDb reviews. I'm going to be seeing if they're actually as bad